Hello everyone. Welcome to my new blog. So our topic today is how can PhD graduate steps into the industry. So we have a new guest in our blog. So his name is Baplu Rai. Now it's Dr. Baplu Rai. So I would like to welcome him to my new episode, and I would also request him to give further more insight regarding his background and or short information regarding himself. Hi Baplu, you can speak.
Hi, Pranay. Thank you very much for invitation. It was a great pleasure to talk to you and share my experience. Shortly, my name is Baplu. I did my PhD from Erlangen, south of Germany, and then I stay in academia for still 2 more years as a postdoc. So in total, my academic journey spanned over 8 years, and recently now I switched into an industry which is basically CRO, which called the Contract Research Organizations. And now I'm in my fourth month. So basically onboarding is already done.
Okay, that's great, Baplu. So my first question for you is, since you did few years of PhD, then also after that you did your postdoc. So how did it prepare for you to directly go to the industry? How did you feel? Like how skillful were you to directly translate your research into the industry?
Actually, this was quite relative in my opinion because when I was doing my postdoctoral year in academic settings, I was just thinking like, okay, it's just a add up of my PhD work. I was not really getting any kind of values in it. But then when I joined to my new company, I realized the value in it because if somebody wants to get into an industry after finishing their PhD, generally their entry level would be a junior staff scientist because they do not really have any kind of, let's say, supervision, concrete supervision skills, because the industry do not really see you as a person who can supervise. Although we all know that as a PhD we supervise many master student, we supervise even a new PhD graduate and everyone, but still they do not really see us as a competent supervisor. And that's the reason why when I applied for our industry after roughly 2 years of my postdoctoral years, they saw me as a kind of experienced supervisor, and they offer me directly a staff scientist, which is a almost like a one level up as an industry, let's say, entry. And when I started my project and when there was a onboarding programs, everything's were quite great because I already had all the skills necessary, not only from the technical perspective but also from the organizational stuffs and the communication stuffs and everything. And that really made my onboarding skills much more, or onboarding time much more, let's say, smooth. And it was quite fun for these 3 months, because just to add on this one, generally a company gives you a 2 to 3 month of onboarding phase where you have to learn their way of doing things, as well as you have to show them what you got. And at that time it was really helpful to have this PhD plus 2 years of postdoctoral experience.
So in conclusion, we would like, so you want to say that the postdoc experience was pretty beneficial to shift your research experience into the industry. Am I right?
Yes, that's correct. You
That's,
can say it this way, yes.
yeah. And also, maybe for our viewers, it would be interesting if you also talk about your background, because maybe it could be somewhat background specific, like when you translate your research experience into the industry. So if I may know, like, so I think your background is in molecular biology, right?
On that settings, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So basically, you are also working in the same field, like related to your research, or is it totally or kind of similar, or like what do you say on that?
I would say it was quite an overlap, because when I applied for a job, it was quite overlapping of all the criteria and what I was doing before. And that's the reason why it was quite easy to get it into this job as well. So just to give a context, I had an infection immunology background. Molecular biology is a techniques, but infection immunology is also a branch of science, not like a direct immunology, but an infection immunology. So I was working with mouse models and utilizing all the molecular biology techniques, as well as models which is related to the skin. And my now current job is also related to the skin immunity, and that helped me a lot. And I guess this related field were also kind of a boost for me in
Mhm.
order to get into this job. I don't know, maybe if I want to completely switch into another field, let's say maybe a cardiology,
Mhm.
with my transferable skills in molecular biology, it will be still possible. But you have to, we have to think that a company will only pay you if they can see a value on it. They will not really pay you so that you can go there and learn their techniques, utilize. It will not work out. And that's the reason why my advice to a new PhDs graduate who would like to shift into either in academia or in any settings, they should really get all these transferable skills. Just imagine, even if you go for a university job, they will not pay you to go there and then learn and then to like give them some kind of output. So it's always good to have it. So on this note, it's also possible to do this kind of switch into another field,
Yeah.
because fundamentally it will be the same for all these, let's say, transferable skills.
True. Because I also think that because our PhD are very specific, we have a very niche field, and kind of industry is pretty generic. Like we don't have that much specific what we do in our like personal research. So if it would be kind of transferable, because we, like we PhDs, I think that we are meant to learn also, because we kind of fix, or we kind of find a way when we do our research, because it's also pretty new, right? We find a way. So I think that, what do you think? Would that skill also help, like like in the industry, like when we have different setting, maybe different way of doing research, or maybe different topic or something? So
Definitely, definitely. That's helps a lot, because I mean, I can't really talk I cannot really give you a much more experience, because I'm just like, I just finished my onboarding, but I can give you a flavor on it. That's what I got into the industry settings. So industry is about the efficiency, industry about the multitasking, and that's what we know from our academic settings. And generally, the people who hire for industry do not really see a value on us, because they see that, okay, the PhDs were people who are focused on a one project. No, we are focused on a multiple project, and we are like a juggling around. We are juggling around the professional life. We're juggling around with the private life. We are also juggling around with many different projects, as well as, I mean, you know it. I mean, we
see,
are going for many congresses as well, and doing a supervision and everything. All these things help is actually prepare us for a perfect candidate for our industry. But the industry do not really see us like this, and that's a pity on it. So that's the reason why when you go into an industry, you can see that, okay, yeah, you were prepared for an industry, but somehow it cost you many months or many years to get into an industry. That's a
yeah.
sadness.
So like there is a burning question I have. You have heard maybe also, because we see that if you want to go to the industry, just go directly after your master. Why are you wasting your precious years for PhD? That's what we hear, like around friends and stuff. So what is your take on that?
And this is like subjective in general. If somebody will ask me what would be my choice after masters, if I have to go back, I would again choose to do my PhD and then go on this track, because I don't want to undermine anybody, because everyone has a different quality and different values on it. So if I chose, let's give an example of myself. If I decide to go to a industry after my master's degree, yes, I could have easily get in, because I can easily get into a very low level entry levels. Okay, and then they can pay me low, and then I can go, like, in the sense that, okay, now I'm entering, and I can, like, learn my skills. I can make myself more profitable or usable by a company. But as a personal growth, I will not grow further. Maybe I will become a junior staff scientist, because I will start as a, if from my perspective as a molecular biologist in my master's degree,
Mhm.
I could have entered as a research technician. And from that point on, I might be reach into maximum senior research technicians, or maybe a junior staff scientist. It would be tough for me to reach staff scientist or even a higher position. The reason is my level would be stagnant at one point. Yes, initially it looks very, very profitable because I will get more money maybe, because in a German academic settings you only get a 50% or 65% of salary. That's not really, let's say, are more appealing to a people, but
Yeah.
in a long run you are in a winning side
Okay.
because you're gonna get the PhD. It's not only about the title that you're gonna get, like, okay, Dr. Pranay, Dr. Baplu. It's not about the title. It's about you will then know how you can handle things, how you can write up the things, and how you're gonna sell the things in a way science, not
Yeah.
selling like in a supermarket. Okay,
Got
so
it.
so on that take, I would say it's always worth investing on a PhD and then going for industry or going to academic settings, because then you have a more of a options as well,
Yeah.
and that's create a more of a, let's say, the like give you a much more perspective in life than only thinking a short term. But I have no, like, let's say but like, I'm not against if somebody would like to go after masters to an industry or in academia where they would like to have a research technician job. That's completely fine,
That's
because doing a PhD also needs a dedication, also needs a grinding, also needs a positive motivations, because we are talking about minimum 3 years to goes back to 6 7 years of time until you will get your degree. And during that time you have to wake yourself up every day, you have to take yourself into a lab, you have to think every times you might gonna, like, feel like you're losing, but you have to push yourself,
yeah.
and that needs a mental capability. So that's the reason why I would again go back in a time, and then if I have a choice, then I would like to do a PhD and then go on to this track.
Thank you for your
Rather than, yeah,
perspective.
yeah.
Pretty interesting. This is a
Mm.
very nice perspective, which a lot of people don't think from this part of this side. So also, what I think you have like few months of experience already in the
Yes.
industry. So what you want to conclude, maybe in a sentence or just two sentences, maybe what do you want to say with your experience here?
If I have to say it, it's a dynamic, very, very dynamic, because in our academic settings, we are not in so much of a rush. So rush in a way, the deadline. So we have a deadlines, but I mean sometimes the deadlines are kind of relaxed. So we can say like, okay, I would like to send my abstract. So we, like, pass the deadline abstract, and then we was like, okay, maybe there's a late abstract submission. I'm just giving an example. It's not like, okay, I'm undermining the deadlines. We do value a deadline also in academic settings, and there was also time pressure as well. But the dynamics and the overall perspectives in industry is way different. So I like to call industry as a different beast. Maybe that's the reason why generally, they do not they do not want to take a PhD that easily. Maybe, but industry should also know that we are the kind of people that they should rely on us, because we know how to do the things in an accuracy, in an efficient way, doing a multitasking. So on that note, I would say academia is different, industry is different, but we are made for each other. Let's say it this way.
It is true.
Mm.
True.
Mm.
Thank you for this nice thought as well. So I wanted to also push this one specific question for you is, since we both are internationals and
Mm.
we are living in Germany and doing I'm doing my PhD, but you have already done your PhD. So what do you think from the international perspective? Because we are not good at German, like since we are learning it while we came for a master or bachelor's. And what if we want to go to the industry? Because that would be something we are directly dealing with the general people, like especially German people. So what do you think on that for internationals?
Yes, this is also a little bit more controversial as well, because it's also based on people experience as well. I mean, just as a disclaimer, my company is an English speaking company. Okay, so that made my life much more easy as well,
Mhm.
because during the application process, it went through several processes. Okay, so not only I applied there and then they gave me a task, so many layers of, like, application processes, and navigating through English were a much more easier task for me, rather than going into an interview and then presenting myself into a German where I have a limited understanding in general. So definitely, as an international perspective, we have a little bit of downside, because they can see that, okay, we cannot really communicate. But
Mhm.
industry also depends on which kind of sectors you are applying to. For example, if you're applying into research and development, generally it's mostly English is okay. I mean, you need a basic understanding of German. Let's say B1 would be helpful, but not sufficient. B2 or C1 is much more needed, even if you're in the research and development R&D sections where you do active research work. But if you are looking for a, let's say, medical liaison science or like some sales, then you need a kind of fluency, German fluency. I know some people who are not native Germans, who are from abroad. They are still working as the CRA job, which is like a clinical research associate, where you really need a German language as well. So it's possible, but yes, it's definitely tough in general. So what I can tell you is based on what kind of job interests you the most, already from, let's say, third year of your PhD time, you can prepare yourself. But as a PhD graduate, we have other opportunity. We can go to not only to English speaking company, but we can also go to English speaking countries as well. So that's open up a door as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that as well, Baplu. So I have one more thing. So since you have few months of industry experience, you already had many years of academics experience as well since you did PhD in Germany. So what do you want to suggest, like for the young PhDs who might choose their career path differently, maybe not in academic research, maybe they want to go to industry. So what do you suggest? Like what is your take for that? Like what's your optimal suggestion for those people who wants to go for this career?
That's a really interesting question. I was always asking myself as well. I'm asking still myself, am I too late to get into industry, or or is it still okay to get in? And my suggestion would be that if you are thinking that okay, you enjoy some kind of different settings, not in academia, but in a different settings, then you can really already prepare yourself mentally, and then also start looking what are the qualifications you really need, what are the transferable skills, like not only about the scientific skills but also transferable skill like time management, also about, let's say, people management in a way that conflict management, and all these transferable skills that you can really take it with yourself into industry and you can sell yourself. And also you can prepare already yourself job specific qualifications. For example, like what I said before, if you're interested on a clinical research associate job, then prepare yourself on a like in the language level as well, if you would like to work in a Germany. But if you're only interested on a R&D, then you can already start looking companies which have a multinationals or international background, or like in they're like official language is English, because there's many companies within the Germany, they use English as a company language as well. So it's still the possibility. The second thing that I would have, let's say, consider before coming into industry would be that I would apply early. So not like, okay, waiting until finishing my PhD and doing my postdoc. I would start applying. Just to give you a realistic perspective, I get into a new job after actively applying for a year. So I would say if you get lucky, half a year is a sweet spot. 1 year, 2 years is still a kind of norms nowadays. So that's the reason why prepare like in yourself well, apply early, and then always look for the possibilities that you can connect with the peoples from the industry so that you can get a perspective out of it.
So kind of networking. So for
Networking is another key point that will take you to another levels, either in a job prospect of anywhere. I mean, and you know it, Pranay. I mean, I don't have to really explain to you on this one. Yeah.
the networking is, I think, pretty interesting and also a strong ally for you to jump here in your career.
Yeah.
And it was really, really nice conversation with you. And also, I think like with the conversation that PhD it's kind of like a foundation, and we can make the industry also as a launch pad or a practical place where we can apply our research skills or all the knowledge we received. So it was a very, very nice conversation with you. And also, I wish you best for your upcoming work for your industry and your research also in the industry. So it was really, really helpful for me, and I hope it would be also helpful to all the new PhDs or the recent PhD graduates who are like thinking or jogging their minds where to go after their research career. So I think it was very, very nice. So thank you for your time. And it was really nice talking with you.
Thank you, Pranay. I hope our conversation will somehow give some kind of
Yes,
information
yes.
to our viewers. And thank you very much for our invitation. It was really a nice,
Yes,
great
my
talk.
pleasure, my pleasure. And if you also want to hear or listen something related to PhDs and especially in Europe, so you are always welcome to subscribe me and also listen to me. Okay, thank you and bye.
Thank you very much.